Welcome back, everybody. Today is going to be fun because you have requested for me to help you fixture. So this is the drawing that you guys sent in. So how would you go about fixturing it? Well, I'm going to show you how I do it right here today. So here's what we're going to be doing, fixturing a conveyor bracket that was sent in to the forum. And I'm going to show you how to map it out. So I'm starting with the 10254 table. This is just a simple brick in CAD with a whole bunch of holes in it on a 2-inch hole center. You can draw this in 2D or in 3D. It's going to look something like this. This is what we're going to be starting with. And all I need to do now is import my model of the conveyor bracket. So I'm going to make an assembly from this part. I'm using SolidWorks, but any 3D CAD or 2D CAD can be used. So I'm going to start with my tabletop, just like this. And then I'm going to start inserting some components, which is my conveyor brace that I have drawn out of this video. So as you can see, it's a very maybe simple, complex shape for some people, but maybe we want 20 of these because it's a conveyor system and we want them to all be the same. Now it's at this moment in time that I can position this part anywhere that I would like on the table. As you can see, I'm completely floating around and I have control of this. And this is where, as a fabricator or a designer, that you get to have to pick what's going to be the best. So I know I'm going to be building it on the table. So what I'm going to do is just give myself a mate of this surface and this surface. And this is going to rotate the part so it's sitting basically flat on there. Now, depending on what the size is, I'm going to try to pick an orientation that's convenient for me. So let's see here. Let's rotate around this way. No, maybe this way. This way might be pretty easy. Let's do it this way. So we have a nice 90-degree corner. I'm going to be working as much into this left-hand area as possible because I'm going to be standing here and I'm going to be standing here and I want to be able to reach all the welded joints. So this is going to be welded, this is going to be welded, and anything over here is kind of a waste. So let's move everything to this corner. So I'm going to leave it this part floating for right now, and I'm going to input some blocks that are going to locate this top piece and side piece, and we're going to start with some fence blocks for that. And I have all my part files here, so I'm just going to look for some fence blocks, and once I get one fence block in, it's going to be pretty easy to grab the rest. Here it is, 1x4 fence block. Boom, and there she is. Now I'm just going to position it in the corner and give myself a little bit of wiggle room. So all I'm going to do here is hit mate and put the first hole matched up with this hole. I normally don't like to go right at the beginning, give myself a little bit of breathing room, just like that. And then I'm going to mate this with this, and there you go. There's one. We might even move this over to the next hole, but we can kind of define that later. And in SolidWorks, all you gotta hit is Control and click on your part, and you can drag another one like this. So I'm gonna mate the bottom here with this table here. There we go, like that. Now at this point I need to kind of put it where it needs to go. So I'm gonna make this side parallel. And now I gotta start defining this block. I'm gonna probably have this sit right about here. As you can see, I got this block a little bit too far down. You can move that. Move this. This is the beauty of kind of designing this in CAD, is we can kind of see the overall picture. And then this one looks pretty good. Let's bring this one down here. I always like to give myself a little bit of room on the corners to get it around and weld. I try not to crowd the corner too much. So I try to stay back 2, 3, 4 inches. And when you're on the shop floor, you can always move these pins up and down as you see fit. But for this model, that's what we're going to do. And then we'll just do the same down here. Pull off another block. Let's lift it up. I like to kind of get it off the screen. We're going to hit mate. So I like to flip the blocks around so they're facing this orientation and use the front. This is so that the block doesn't want to rock or teeter-totter. Okay, let's just give ourselves a hole here. This really doesn't matter. And the cool thing is we know everything's going to be perfect. And when we go down on the shop floor, everything's going to be just great. Now at this point we have 3 points. Let's do one more back here. And a good rule of thumb is we want these blocks to be as far apart as possible. So this block we can almost put right on the edge. Let's pick this hole and this hole. We're going to mate. And this hole and this hole. Now this is floating, and if we would bump these into the blocks. So let's make this surface with this surface. Boom. Just like that. As you can see, we are now constrained this way. Let's do the same for this one. Boom. Okay, now the part is positioned. And as you can see, it's locked. Can't move it anymore. It's locked to the table. Now all I have to do is just go through and add all the rest of the fixtures and just build around it and locate all the parts. We know this piece is locked, this piece is locked. Let's do this one. So we know it's a weird dimension I can kind of see from here. Or a fence block doesn't fit on these. So let's use a tooth block. So I'm going to insert component. I'm going to browse my library of tools and I'm going to use tooth block right here. So as you can see here, I have a tooth block and a riser in this model. You don't need the riser per se, but we're going to run it because that's what I have in here. It doesn't change anything because the block is measured from the front of this block to the back, and we can change out any riser we want. Okay. So what we're going to do is just the same thing. We want to leave ourselves a little bit of wiggle room. Let's get it mated to the table. And we're probably going to want to put them right about here so we have a little bit of room to get our TIG torch in. If we were to bump this like that, we're going to block this corner to weld, which may not be a bad thing, but this will work just fine. And all we're going to do here is make a mate. We're going to make this wall tangent with this wall of this hole, tangent this wall with tangent of that wall, hit OK. And as you can see, we are now sliding, and all I'm going to do is now mate the front of this block with the surface of this tube, just like that. And then we're going to need another one because the rule is we need 2 blocks for every piece. So I'm just going to hold control down, click, drag, and set myself off another part, just like that. And we're going to do the same thing. Let's just click here and here, 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 and here, here. So now this piece is located. Now we want to locate this piece right here, this long piece. So I'm going to pull off another tooth block and turn them around. Kind of see the bottom here. Once again, we don't want to block the corner, so probably go into this hole right. So it's going to be this hole and this hole, tangent, yep. And let's do this hole and this wall. Here you go. And this surface and this surface. Here you go. And then let's peel off another one. And we want to locate him. So let's roll him over so I can see the bottom. Mate. Again, we're going to go here. A lot of the same thing. Once you get used to this, it's pretty fast and you're already just thinking about it in your head. All right, working our way around the part. So now that part is located. Now we need to worry about this part, which is, I don't know what angle this is. This is, does it look like it's a 45? Looks like it. I'm going to peel off another tooth block and I'm going to rotate him around. I'm going to mate the floor again with this floor. All right. Resist turning the block like this. In this instance, because it's on a 45, we can get away with it, but it's not good practice to turn the blocks on the 45 or any angle per se. We want to always try to stay in line with the grid, which means that we want to try to stay like this in line and use the corner of the block. That gives us a good scale. It's repeatable. And referenceable. So these are just simple rules that I've made for myself and they really do work. And by positioning the block in this orientation, it gives us a little bit more room right here to do a weld instead of turning it kind of like, not impossible, but we can make it convenient on ourselves, right? So we're going to pick this hole, maybe this hole. Let's do this one. As you can see, I'm just kind of guessing based on my fabrication knowledge of where to put these. And as you guys start to use the table more, you will also find what your preferences are. So we're blocked in, sliding. Now we need to give ourselves a pivot point here. So I'm going to use this edge and this surface. I'm going to mate till coincident. There you go. As you can see, we're touching and it's locked in, and we're going to do the same thing right up here. Peel this guy off, probably something like that. Roll them over so I can mate the floor. There we go. That edge to this edge. Boom. Okay, now that part is located on that angle and at the correct measurement away. So doing several different things at once. This piece right here is a little bit small, so we can probably add one tooth block right here if we wanted to. Like I said, once you get down there on the shop floor, if you don't like something, it's not a big deal. So this surface and this surface, mate them. And this hole goes with this guy. There we go. And then we can do the same thing, mate him and him. Just like that. And like I said, we're just working our way around. Let's pull this off. Mate, rotate around. And we're gonna probably want to put him here. This is pretty easy. Now this one's a little trickier because we have the inside corner and inside corner. So what I mean by that is if we get this too close, it's gonna be kind of hard to weld over here on this corner and in this corner. So we kind of got ourselves trapped. So what can we do to not trap ourselves? Can we put a fixture in here? On the inside, this one just is going to be kind of tight because we have some corners. Probably have to get it tacked and then remove it when we get down on the shop floor. But I'm going to put it in here anyway. I'm not going to nest it too far away from the corner. So we got quite a few tooth blocks. Tooth blocks are the king. You want a lot of these. We need to set a measurement. What I mean is the end stop. So we don't want these parts to be too long. So as we put this part in, we need to control the length. So let's add another block over here like this. And this ensures that the part cannot be too long, if that makes sense. And then we made it. So now the part cannot exceed this boundary. So if we were to cut this weird in the saw, then this whole overall length. So this length from the top of here to here is what's setting the overall measurement. And then we will add another one on this leg. We're just gonna peel this guy off, copy him. Some of these blocks you don't need CAD to set up. Obviously we can pull these measurements off on the shop floor, but it's sure nice just to do it right here and then we just have a map. And as you can see, I know probably a lot of you guys are worried that these are not lined up, but that's okay because this block cannot go past this point. And that's what we got. Okay, so in order to get a hole ID, it's always a little tricky in CAD to get all these holes and to not bog the machine down. So what we have is a preset. Basically, all these scales is just a part, and we just import it into the model. As you can see, it's literally a part that sits there, and I can drag this part around, as you can see, and align it with the holes approximately. This just gives us an approximate. So any 2D CAD can kind of do the same thing. Okay, now that we got our scale in here, all I got to do now is make a drawing from assembly. I have a little template here. Okay, I'm going to drag it in, and depending on what we're doing, we can have a side view, top view. You guys know the drill, but I'm going to scale this up. Yeah, this looks pretty good. There we go. We're just going to position this in the middle of the table here. And then from this point on, I'm just going to assign it some dimensions. So I'm going to just smart dimension. These are all easy because you can see which block they're in. Now what we need to see is the hole. So the tooth block works from this edge to the center of this hole is the distance that it shows extended. So we need to just ID this. This is the way I do it, find the hole center. So it's from this distance to this distance right here is the scale. So I'm going to click on this one and this one. And as you can see, this is a 1/2 inch. Okay. And we want to make sure our scale is set in 1/16 of an inch. So let's do edit document. And I'm in 1/16 of an inch. And we can move this down anywhere you want, but it's going to round to the nearest 16th for me. And so all I'm going to do is just go from here to here. That's how far out this block is extended. Get a little closer. There we go. Another 1/2 inch. So I like to kind of just drag it off to the side, something like that, where we can read it. And then you can always change the text. It's kind of what you do. These ones up here are probably the most important ones. And obviously these ones are going to be the same. So sometimes when they're the same, they're in a row like this. I'll only dimension one because it's going to be exactly the same. Same with like this one. So we know that this is a 1/2 inch. So I know that this is a 1/2 inch. I wouldn't label it just because it just clutters up the map. Just come through here and we just plug our numbers in. This gives us what we need. As you can see, like I said, it's same as below, right? So why make another confusing mark? These are the guys that are a little tricky. 1 5/8. This is an 1 5/8. Yep, this one is 5/8. Let's just drag this one off the side, and there we go. You can dimension this one if you want to, but it just, like I said, adds confusion sometimes. And then you take a look around. This guy, Miss Tim, and that's it. And then I will hide these guys, and now everything's labeled. I got myself a nice map, and I will save the PDF and I will print it. And there you go. I go down to the shop floor, lay this all out, and off I go. Pretty easy. All right, got my PDF all printed off. Now I'm ready to start fixturing. I know exactly how many fixtures I need. I need 4 fence blocks. I need 11 tooth blocks, 11 tooth block washers. I need 11 tacking bolts, and 11 alignment pins. And now all I have to do is just follow exactly what I've done upstairs. I'm gonna start with the fence block. I'm just gonna follow the map, and it's pretty easy. It goes in D2, right? So just like this. And then we're gonna do the same all the way around for the fence blocks. This should only take me about 3 minutes. Fence blocks are done. The next block is the tooth block. Let me show you how that goes. We're gonna start back here at the back because the table's labeled. So I'm looking at the first hole, which is C in row 23, like that. Okay, so if you come take a look at this tooth block, here's how it works. The tooth block and the washer are 2 pieces. So this little washer locates on top of this tooth block, and we have 1/8 of an inch increments or 1/16, depending on the washer chosen. Pin goes in the hole. This is the lockdown that pushes down. So as you can see, we can pivot. This is the alignment pin, anti-rotational pin. So right now we are home base. It's pushed all the way back. This whole center and the whole center in the slot are lined up. And what our map did, what we told us is we need to extend that tooth block off that hole 1 5/8 of an inch. So all I'm gonna do is lift this up off the block, and I'm gonna move it out 1 5/8 of an inch. Just like that. All right, so that's how the tooth block works. It's really simple, it's really straightforward, it's easy to read and understand, and I'm just gonna go around to all 10 of these tooth blocks and set them in place. This should only take a few minutes. 5/8 of an inch, done, lock it down. I'm not gonna use a tape measure or anything like that. We're just gonna follow the map. 1 5/8. Whoa, way up here. At 1/2 inch. At 1/2 inch. And then one more right here, 6L. All right, that's it, done. So now that I have all my fixtures in here, now I can start cutting my parts. If I haven't already cut my parts already, start fitting it in here, lining everything up. And now when comes time to do this job again, I have a fixture map placement, and I can rejig this up for next time, or send this off to somebody else that has a Fireball table and have them build it for you. This is pretty cool because from sitting in my chair in front of the computer to being down here on the shop floor, having all these fixtures set up, I did not pull out a tape measure. I'm gonna trust the table and the system. So hopefully you guys understand now how to do a fixture map, how to get from a basic 3D model into CAD and then down here on the shop floor and really tie the virtual world with reality and be able to make something that you've designed. I think it's pretty special that way. I know you have some more questions, so please leave those for me at the Fireball Tool Forum. If you'd like me to help you with your CAD model or your fixture map, please leave those drawings there for me too, and I'd be happy to make them for you. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you on the next one.